One at a time, please. Up front, here on the left.
Simple one. How do we feel going into the season?
I'm healthy. I feel good. I got a lot of energy. I'm looking forward to getting the season started. And I'd say the same for my team.
How's Wooga doing?
Doing very well. You know that because we scrimmaged yesterday and he took 14 shots. So I think he's doing fine.
Coach, have you stressed to your team and the players you have coming back to forget about what happened last year? We had a great run, but this is a new season. We have to move forward.
Yes. Yeah.
In what aspects? Because some kids may think about what they accomplished.
Yeah, actually, today we're going to be talking about living in the present. I think my main concern for a lot of guys is they think too far ahead and start thinking about what's next. And we need to be focused on the here and now. So that'll be the message to them today.
What's next in the sense of like the ACC season or like the tournament? I mean, NBA,
No, the NBA. Yeah, everybody, ask our guys if they're going to play in the NBA. Every one of them thinks they will. So, we don't want them looking too far down the road, and we don't want them looking in the past. We want them to live in the present.
So what do you do? What do you do to get them to focus on Monday against New Jersey?
I scream and yell at them constantly for hours.
Coach, is there anybody that you've seen step up into that leadership role, being able to guide the rest of them in order to make sure you guys achieve the results you want to achieve this season?
Oh, I think we have 4 terrific leaders. Bensley Joseph, Wooga Poplar, Norshad O'Meara, and Nigel Pack. They're all different personalities, different way. But in the last 2 practices, Category 5 was here on Tuesday. Yesterday, the pep band was here. And after practice, our players sat down with those groups. So with Category 5, I sat down and was quizzing them, asking them, who's your favorite player, what was your favorite game, how often do you come to the games, and all that stuff. But the players were there talking with the Category 5 too, and Wooga had them laughing hysterically. And that's a little bit of leadership, because what it does is it loosens everybody up. It makes it a happy environment. And Wooga does that with our team as well. But then you have Nigel, who's very, very smart, a high basketball IQ, and his assist-to-turnover ratio right now is about as good as it can get. It's like almost 7-to-1 right now. And then you have Norshad, who's the Energizer Bunny. And then you have our vocal leader is Bensley Joseph. So you got all different personalities, all take on different leadership roles, and I like it very much.
The 2 guys, we talked a little about them the other day, Michael Nwoko and George, Keyshawn George. What have you seen from them since the game we saw the other day? What have you seen from them in the last several days, and how do you think they're going to be able to contribute this season?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of fouls. They foul a lot. They're both really good players. Keyshawn George is an outstanding complementary player, meaning he really knows how to play with other good guys. And he's played with adults, so he's very, very comfortable with the ball in his hands or without the ball, or sharing the ball, shooting the ball. I mean, he's just really, really good. And Michael Nwoko is a big, strong athlete. He dunks the ball easily. He's got a beautiful right-hand jump hook. Yesterday he made 4 for 4 from the foul line, which I was happy with. So those two guys are going to be instrumental. Now, I am serious that they're going to have to avoid being in foul trouble, because very, very typically freshmen struggle early in their careers at the defensive end of the floor. And it's because they use their hands, or they're a little too physical, and whatever it might be.
Hey, Jim, I want to ask you about recruiting, believe it or not. I know you can't.
Recruiting?
Yeah, but you can't talk about individuals, obviously, but you go to the Elite Eight, the Final Four. What kind of impact has that had for you? You've been recruiting for a few years now. Have you noticed sort of there's more interest in the program just because of that?
I've been recruiting for 52 years, so.
I'm trying to be nice.
Here's what I think about recruiting. I love it when, okay, someone says, like, hey, you got to the Elite Eight, you got to the Final Four, recruiting must be easier. I'm saying, no, we just stepped up and who we're trying to go after, and the competition gets tougher. All right, so we're going after guys that all the blue bloods are going after. Now, can we get them? You know, the thing is, our program is what it is. All right, we don't have the biggest arena, we don't have the largest campus. It has to be someone who's looking for what we offer. You know, the ACC is great. The campus is absolutely beautiful. The academic reputation of the university is fantastic. The community here is very supportive. So I would say my coaches do a great job of identifying the guys that I want to coach. There's a lot of guys you might see are very talented. I don't want to coach them. For what reason? Well, characteristics, right? Characters, you know. And so right now we're going after the right guys. We're going to sign. Signing date is coming up Wednesday. So I think we're going to get 3 kids to sign, and when they do, it'll add 3 very good players to our program.
Coach, you mentioned Bensley being a very vocal leader through the preseason and going through the exhibition game as well. What makes him such a vocal leader, and at what point did you realize he became a vocal leader?
Yeah, his voice. He's very comfortable in his own skin and speaking up. So he's constantly communicating verbally in a very strong voice, like a leader should. And I think the guys on the team respect him, and they listen to him, and he's real good at it. And he and Nigel together, because they kind of share that point guard role, he and Nigel together are a really terrific combination.
When did you realize that he became that vocal leader? Was it during the offseason or a little bit earlier during last season, given he's been here for a few years now?
Like the first 2 weeks he was here as a freshman, it's his personality. It's just very, very natural for him to speak up. So he's done it right from the very beginning.
Jim, you're going to be talking about the present today, evidently. But what do you want to take to bring with them from last year, from the experience last year?
Well, you got to remember, half our team was not here last year.
Right.
So what we're asking is the veteran players, the 4 guys I think we've already mentioned, Bensley, Nigel, Wooga, and Norshad, of really leading the Matthew Clevelands and the younger guys like A.J. Casey and Christian Watson, and then Keyshawn George and Michael Nowako and Paul Jobé, kind of showing them what needs to be done in order to be successful. Because as I said, freshmen, those 3 freshmen we have, need a lot of work defensively. Right? The sophomores, Christian Watson and A.J. Casey, and throw in Ja'Kai Robinson, and then you have guys who have learned and have improved and are tougher defensively now. We need that to show up under game conditions.
Coach, how do you continue to reinvent the wheel? You guys, historic season last year, the previous season, Elite Eight, Final Four. Obviously, the goal is to win it all at the end, and I know it's early right now, but how do you keep reinventing in order to achieve that goal hopefully this season?
The very first thing we have to do is keep our players healthy, because we're 1 injury away from not being any good at all. And that's very, very difficult to go through a whole year. But we know who we are and the way we like to play. We're an up-tempo team. Last year, we led the country in offensive efficiency in transition. In all of our scrimmages, either inter-squad scrimmages or even the exhibition game or the scrimmage that we played, it's all been up-tempo and high scoring. And so for us, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're trying to get that wheel to go faster.
Coach, if I can ask you on a side note, the passing of Bobby Knight, just what he meant to the college basketball.
Well, Coach Knight set a standard at Indiana that I would say the entire Midwest fell in love with. Every high school coach that I knew when I was coaching at Bowling Green was running Bob Knight's motion offense and man-to-man defense. In fact, the 10 teams in the Mid-American Conference, 7 or 8 of them were doing the same thing. And so he was a leader by example. This is how you do it. And he had such great success, everybody wanted to emulate him. So I respect the job that Coach Knight did, and think that a lot of coaches learn quite a bit from him. I've coached against several of his former assistants, and actually I was replaced at Bowling Green by Dan Dockage, one of his former assistants. So he's got a very long, extensive coaching tree, and again, you got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Jim, you
Last
guys, Final 8, Final 4, not that if you don't reach that level, that means the season, you can't do that every year, but have you guys, do you feel like you're at that level now where, okay, this is who we are as far as on a national track?
You know, the way I approach it is the same every year. I want to be as good as we can be. How good can we be this year in the here and now? And I think we've got a good team right now. We've got some good players returning. We've got some good newcomers. And we're going to find out right away in the non-conference, because we've got to go to Kentucky. We've got to go to the Bahamas and play, 2 really good teams. We're going to New York to play Colorado. So, you find out, okay, these are nationally ranked teams, the guys we're facing. How well do we do against them? And what adjustments are we going to have to make after we face those teams? Because I remember in the year we were in the Elite Eight, we went to Orlando for the ESPN Classic and lost to Alabama by 32. Well, everybody thought, well, we're going to be terrible. No, I thought, okay, we learned an awful lot from that beating. We lost, but how much did we learn from it? We learned an awful lot, and then we won 10 straight games. Do you remember that, Dave?
I don't remember.
No,
I
see?
was there.
Yeah.
10 straight games.
I remember you getting hot. I don't remember losing 32 to Alabama, though.
Yeah, we did. Thanks, everybody. Happy Halloween. What'd you dress as?
Jim Larrañaga.
Did that scare anybody?